Luke Gazdic joins us from Maple Leads and Sportsnet .ca. Sportsnet overall, 147 NHL games with the Oilers and the Devils. Toronto kid. Hey, Luke, how excited are you for the start of hockey season, man? I feel like it's been 10 years since hockey.
Yeah, hey Rod, how you doing? I'm pretty excited. I'm fired up to get things going here. I will tell you that I did play in a lot of those prospect tournaments. I was in Traverse City, Michigan with the Dallas Stars for 3 or 4 of those, and then a lot of training camps throughout my career. And it's a lot less stressful on this end now, not being a part of it. So I'm excited to get things going, man. Lots of storylines, and it's exciting.
Okay, well, hang on, because you went there. I was thinking it, so I'm going to ask you. Texas Stars. Austin, Texas, just a jewel of a city. Tell people something that they wouldn't know about Austin, Texas. And I assume you loved it, playing there for so long. What did you love the most? What did you love the most?
Favorite professional hockey stop that I've made, and I think I might have taken it for granted a little bit because it was the first place I went in my whole career. I signed with Dallas, didn't make the team out of main camp. I ended up being in Austin. We were just north of Austin in Cedar Park for 4 years. I was there. Incredible town, live music everywhere, some of the best food you'll eat in all of Texas, and the people were just unbelievable too. It was just the coolest place to play hockey. Very college town, University of Texas Longhorns. It was a really special place. I have some pretty cool memories from there.
Yeah, it is a great town. Thank you for that. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think you can handle it. We've had some fun the last couple of days ranking 1 through 7 Canada's NHL teams. Off the top of your head, and I know that you do a lot of analysis, would this be an easy ranking or a hard one for you? Who would you go with?
Ooh, good question. 7, I'll go 7 is probably Montreal. That's the team that sticks out to me the most as having the most work to do. They have some young prospects, but they're still a ways away. Let's move up into 6. 5, 6, I'm going to put Winnipeg and Ottawa. Not sure of that order back to back. I think Calgary is better than both of those. I think then goes Toronto and then Edmonton. I'm not sure if I got all 7 in there. I hope I did. But I think Edmonton is the best Canadian team with Toronto just slightly behind. And for the simple reason of Connor McDavid.
Buddy, I love it. I love it. I love it. You're more like my co-host Darren, who is a Leaf fan, than what mine are. But it's a wrestle for me between the Jets and the Flames, to be honest with you. What tips the scales in your favor that you say the Flames are better than the Jets? Because, their talent's one thing, culture's another, and both have something to prove in that regard.
You know what? And Rod, I could probably go back and forth with those two for the simple reason of I feel like both have lost their way in terms of culture. I'm not sure what's happening, especially in Calgary, in terms of guys not wanting to play there anymore. I always thought that was such a special place in the league and in the NHL. And it's just seeming like the culture's lost a bit where you have these guys who, especially the RFAs coming up and aren't really committing to long-term deals. And I never thought that would be the thing with Calgary, but I love their roster. I think they're pretty deep up front. Jacob Markstrom's an elite goaltender. Winnipeg, the same thing too. If Connor Hellebuyck can kind of come back to form, they will be competitive. They're not the Winnipeg of old where it was big, strong, physical, heavy. They picked up a couple good pieces in that LA trade, I thought, but it's the same thing there with culture. And I'm not sure how many people in Winnipeg, any people playing there want to be there. And it's certainly a concern. I could flip-flop those two, though, Rod. Those are 2 very interesting case studies for me this year because I really am curious to see how things are going to play out. I think they both need big starts.
Well, they do. And I just think Winnipeg's a year ahead in fixing the culture because Rick Bowness has been there for a year already. In Calgary, they're going to try something new under Ryan Husky, whom I believe in. But I want to ask you this, as a former NHL player, I hear this a lot in the markets. In some cases from NHL staff that it's taxes in Canada that players don't want to play in Canada, and also Calgary's arena. Is there a buzz among the players, or is that just an excuse?
I mean, guys will look for excuses, but it's that combination, that deadly combination of three, right? The taxes, the weather, and the arena. Because if you go to pretty much any facility in the league now, you look at Edmonton, you look at Little Caesars in Detroit, and these brand new arenas, it's tough as a player to look at one of those and look at the 10,000 square foot gym they have at Rogers Arena in Edmonton, and then go to Calgary at the Dome and see kind of the situation they have there. But at the end of the day, it's playing hockey and where you have the best opportunity to play as a player. And I don't know, this culture has kind of turned into this pick and choose, and I want to play here and I want to play here. You look at Pierre-Luc Dubois finally getting settled at his third team. He finally gets to play in the place he wants to play. And I just never understood that as a player. I always thought, like I said before, I hold Calgary in high regard. I think the Dome is one of the coolest buildings in the league. It might be a little old, but it's still pretty unique. People of Calgary are awesome. You're right by the mountains, and hey, it's winter in Canada. It's going to be cold. The warm weather climates I didn't really like, to be honest. I like that hockey season in the winter. So I hope more guys turn around, because there's starting to be little scuttlebutts like that about people not wanting to come play north of the border.
Yeah, well, listen, look, I get it, and I don't know you well, Luke, but you seem like a bit of an old-school kind of guy, and the new breed of players, they've gotten what they've wanted their whole life, so now they just want to pick where they're going to play, and it doesn't always work that way, but that's the way the players are now. Now, you're a Toronto kid. Does that, by proxy, make you a Leaf fan? Like, is that the team you cheer for the most? I feel like it is. Am I right in saying that?
Oh, 100%. That was, for me growing up, I took the subway down to Maple Leaf Gardens and watched a bunch of games when I was a kid. And then the early 2000s Leaf teams, especially in 2004 when they made the run to the Western Conference or Eastern Conference Finals, with Gary Roberts and Brian McCabe and Captain Matt Sundin. Those were my Leaf teams I watched. So as I begin playing pro, I think I lost a bit of that. But now being back in the city and living here full time, I'm kind of starting to feel it a bit more.
Well, we have a minute, and I'll just say this. You guys all think the Leafs are getting it's your year, but now everybody thinks it's the Leafs' year. Not just Leaf fans. Everybody thinks this is the year. At least that's the sense I get. How will that affect this locker room and this team? That's even more pressure than they're used to. That's how I feel, or what I feel.
Yeah, we love to put a lot of pressure on the players here in Toronto, but truthfully, this is one of the best rosters I've seen them have top to bottom. They're a little thin on the back end still, and Ilya Samsonov, to me, is still fairly unproven. He had a decent year last year, but they're not going to have trouble scoring goals. They're not going to have trouble getting on the power play and scoring goals. It's a really good team on paper, but they're going to have to show me something here first. And I think they're going to have to show some fans here first that they're going to play the right way. And definitely high hopes. I'm sure the locker room will say they don't hear that and they don't hear all that outside noise. But I know the players, and they're going to feel some pressure too. That's definitely for sure.
Can't wait to get it going. Luke, thanks for this, man. Mitts Off, that's where people can find you now?
Yeah, 7 episodes into my podcast, Mitts Off with Luke Gazdic. And of course, you'll see me on Sportsnet on Hockey Central as the season begins.
Break a leg, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Rod.